Welcome to our Sunday Freedom Family Builders Academy. Welcome to our Sunday Builders Academy, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get my theme music going here. Hold on, you gotta hear it from the beginning again. Because the beginning is the best part. I'm just saying. It's the horns for me, y'all. It's the horns. Okay, that's enough. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. We're back in action. What's going on with my partner, Mr. Allen, Mr. CJ, Senior, Mr. Davis, and FOREX Lex, and my buddy Harshaw over there. I'm going to actually just move through some things I wanted to share tonight. For those who don't know, every Sunday we have what's called the Builders Academy here with the Freedom Family, where we talk about building your home-based business, right? The B quadrant side of our epic fusion, if you will, teaching people. I'm muted. Hold on. Lex says she can't hear me. I think everybody else can hear me, Lex. It might be you. Give me a thumbs up, DA, if you can hear me. Okay, maybe you guys can't hear me then. Yep, you can't hear me either. All right, let me get my volume together then. Hang on, guys. Okay, give me a sec. Let me see what happened to my RTO. Don't know what happened to my audio. Speaker, same system, inside, same meeting. Okay. Switch to computer. Yeah, let me see. Think we're good. Oh, we're good now. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. So back to my introduction. We are here every Sunday for an 8 o'clock Builders Academy. We teach the principles of building a home-based business, how to build the B quadrant side of our epic movement. And today is, of course, in the United States market, Independence Day, right? The holiday for freedom, supposedly, here in the US. And what I wanted to do was kind of just touch on what I saw today as the defining definition of freedom, right? Because I personally believe freedom is relative, right? It's really relative to the individual because everybody has different philosophies, belief systems, and things of that nature. So let me see if I can pull up what I found today in Wikipedia and share my screen, if it'll allow me to real quick. And let me see what you guys think or what your definitions might be. But this is the Wikipedia definition of freedom, and it is, again, relative to the individual. Generally, it's having the ability to act or change without constraint. I like that, right? Where you can change directions, you can act, do what you feel like you want to do without any constraints, no one confining you to be any specific thing or specific way, right? Something is free if it can change easily and not be constrained to its present state, right? And so in philosophy and religion, it's associated with having free will. So I just thought that would be very interesting that most people don't really have a understanding of the definition of freedom in their real lives because they aren't really pursuing freedom. Their lives are wrapped around things that they're being conditioned to do or forced to do unwillingly or somewhat willingly, but not really, right? Because if they were doing it of their free will, it's a lot would change in most people's lives. And I wanted to just kind of speak to what my freedom is, and really to what this movement is about and why we're here every single week. I know we've missed a couple weeks with the yacht cruise and things of that nature, and I wanted to get some testimonies on here, but I know today being a national holiday, that will be probably a little difficult. So we'll probably have some testimonies here next week for you guys. But freedom for me personally is just what that statement said, is the ability to move without constraint. And what do I mean by move? Anything in my mind that I decide I want to do, move on, be, or pursue, right? Having the freedom to do just that. And for me, it's been part of my DNA since I was a young child. I hated having to be told what to do. And I know some people say, well, that's discipline. You're supposed to do what your parents tell you to do. I don't know about that, right? Some parents are good parents. Some parents might not parent so well. I'm sure my parents meant well, but my point is, I always was a free thinker, right? I wanted to do what was best for what I felt myself for me, right? Nobody can tell me what's best for me better than me, especially as an adult, right? Maybe as a child when you don't know what's best for you. But as an adult and having lived in the world long enough, I knew exactly what I wanted out of this life, and knowing I would never get another chance to live it again, I wanted to kind of orchestrate the life that I chose. And I love it because my partner, Mr. Allen, was attracted to me in this way of thinking. And here's a mastermind of the Napoleon Hill philosophies of think and grow rich. And he can articulate that book much better than me. But the title itself says everything, right? As we think, we become richer in life, and not about monetary riches. It's really about the freedom of designing the life that you choose, right? Thinking and growing a richer lifestyle. It's been always a dream of mine, and now we're in a position to teach other people how to pursue their freedoms and their dreams, and that's what this movement is all about. So we talk about it every Sunday, mostly about how do you collectively build a team, a residual income based business model, but a lot of it just has to do with philosophies in life, and I love it because our synergy is there. When yesterday on the Epic Success Lab call. You may have not noticed, but yesterday on the Success Lab, we actually had a training on what we talk about here every single Sunday. It was talking about personality types, talked about the three-way call, talked about edification and moving people through the exposure process from not knowing about your business to knowing about your business to actually being a part of your business. And so, that's the freedom machine, the part of the work that has to be done in order for your freedom to be attained. And I love Mr. Davis's screensaver right there, right? He has the Freedom Family movement up on his screensaver with the next generation, of course, CJ, his son. So I'm done, guys. I really just wanted to speak to that. It's the fourth Independence Day here in the U.S., and I thought what better way to speak to that more than anything is really just bring up Wikipedia's definition and then get a definition from you guys what freedom means to you. So I have a perfect group of people on the call because it's not too many, but we are recording. So this will be dialogue and catalog for everybody to hear. So I want you guys to kind of share your freedom, what freedom means to you. And then, of course, we'll close the call out. Let me start with my partner, Mr. Dan Allen. Mr. Allen, let me get you unmuted, sir. And you share what this movement and your freedoms are for you, sir. Let's see, ask all to unmute. Yep, I think everybody can unmute themselves now.
One of the things, hey, how's you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir, loud and clear. How you doing, my brother?
Wonderful, wonderful. One of the things that always stand out for me with the word freedom is a phrase that kind of started it or leads it for me, which is freedom isn't free. Freedom isn't something that's handed out like government cheese when we were kids. So freedom is an earned state, right? Especially in where we're celebrating that outside the United States. And so what it means for me is to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, with who I want to do it with, for as long as I want to do it, right? What it costs, though, is to be responsible in your commercial affairs. Freedom is something that's purchased in the United States, just point blank, and the opposite of freedom isn't so much slavery in the United States, it's indentured servitude, which is you have some level of obligation that you don't get to do what you want to do when you want to do it, who you want to do it with, as long as you want to do it. So, and there's a formula to it. Like you said, it's relative. Each of us first get to find what's our monthly responsibility for our wants, needs, and desires. And then if we can do that and still do what we want to do when we want to do, then you have a level, you brought some level of freedom. Then there's freedom of thinking, and then that get to go on different levels as well. But the if I was going to leave something with anyone, it's that freedom isn't free. And in the United States, there's actually a definitive number you can look up, and it's pretty much your monthly bill, probably an and a half. And then if you could do that without having to go do what you don't want to do with who you don't want to do it with, then you're free. I work a bunch of hours a week on our project, but it's what I want to do and who I want to do it with, and it's when I want to do it. So inside of the 10-hour, 5-hour, 4-hour, 12-hour work days, it's all freedom for me because I'm fighting for other people's freedom and that freedom. So that's really my caveat, is that responsibility comes before freedom. You can't be a free person without having personal responsibility over your commercial affairs. And with that, sir, we can talk about it. I mean, this is one of my favorite topics. But yeah, you have to earn your freedom, and that's fair because anybody can do it. Mr. Rome said if you was stuck, $4 an hour would be bad. But since you can climb a ladder, it's fair for anybody because anybody can get there and then climb. People have different starts because of who their family were or different things like that. But we have the opportunity to choose how we end up. And so that, I think that's fair. No matter how it is started, we got different talents, different networks, different things that can assist us or hinder us. But when it all comes down to it, we get to choose what the price is and then choose to pay the price or choose not to pay the price. So, and that's a level of freedom too, the freedom of choice. So that's our turn it over to you. I'll jump in if you want me to.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that because you always bring another level for me when you just speak on things that when we conversate, and understanding that freedom has a cost, right? That's the whole point, right? You don't just get to the land of freedom without some sacrifice, whether it be time, energy, money, or combination of all of those things. So appreciate you, sir. Let me let
The
Go
place
ahead.
the place where we're expressing the freedom at, they had a Boston Tea Party, then they went to war for their freedom. So their freedom wasn't free either. They were the criminals and the degenerates of one side, and then they said, you know what? How about no thank you? I don't want to pay you. Or what? Come take it. The British are coming, the British are coming, the British are coming. Then they went and got their guns and said, you got to keep coming over here because we're not, I mean, like it's freedom isn't free. It costs somebody something. So it's fair. I'm sorry, sir.
It's, absolutely. I love it. I love it. Let me get some dialogue for some folks. So anybody else, I'm gonna give everybody a chance.
Mr.
If,
Randall, can you
if,
hear me?
go ahead, Mr. Harshaw. Tell me what's your definition of freedom and your comments, sir.
Well, first of all, let me say this about Mr. Dan over there in the corner of my screen right there. You should never start with that guy because that guy has a summation of everything that everybody could say. Because I was going to start out real big and say, hey, freedom ain't free. That's where I was at. He ended with freedom ain't free. So I can't start with freedom ain't free now because he ended with it. So next time you start something, say, Mr. Allen, out of respect for everybody else's input, I'm going to go ahead and let you go last because you're going to take everything to the next level. So anyway, let me jump in this thing. So in fact, I'm taking it back. Freedom ain't free. Where you are, Mr. Ramsey, I'm going to use you as a perfect example, sir. You have freedom now that we never thought of, but you pay for that freedom over time. From the beginning, when you were doing all of the traveling, when you put in all the time, you were paying for the freedom now, because nobody ever know where you at. You can take a picture and you in Budapest. Ain't no telling about you. But you've earned that freedom by paying for it over time. So that's my definition of freedom, because it is not free. And we appreciate you. And Dan Allen, I don't know what to say, but thank you, sir.
Appreciate you, Mr. Harshaw. Let's pass it on over to the First Lady. I don't know if she can speak, but I'd love to hear her definition of freedom for the women. Ms. Nona Wings, are you able to speak? Okay, sound like she might be tied up, so we'll move it on. Wait a minute. She's connected her audio. Drum roll, please. Oh, she raising her hand. I thought I unmuted everybody. I'm sorry, Nona.
I'm over here struggling. Why you gotta be playing games with me?
I apologize. I thought I unmuted everybody. How are you this fine Sunday?
I am absolutely wonderful, considering all things, grateful, irregardless to what I was dealing with on yesterday. I'm feeling a lot better, so I thank you all. But you know, in terms of freedom, for me, you all know just the excitement of and I hope I'm not being too for it, but candid at the same time. How folks were saying, oh, you know, we got the holiday off because of, you know, we ain't got to go to work because of the holiday. I don't have that problem. That's freedom for me, right? I ain't got to worry about rushing back to work on Tuesday because I done had too much fun on Monday. You know, just not having to go and punch the clock and do those things anymore. That's freedom. Being able to make the decision to be with my children when I could have had to be at work, that's freedom. Because years ago, I had no other choice but to work, even working on the holidays at times. So at this particular point, you know, just happy and grounded that you all have put me in a better position, and what we have going on and how we can help so many others that desire a piece of this freedom to embrace it as well. But that's my story right there.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. And I know you are even, most of the Freedom family don't even know the depth that you are working for their own freedom, right? And what you're doing on the marketing side, really pioneering our entire marketing system so it can actually elevate the level of freedom for all the entire Freedom family. So we appreciate all that you do and your commitment to, you know, freeing even more people. Mr. Davis, did you want to share, sir, if you're able to speak on what your definition of freedom? I know you're a freedom fighter for sure, teaching it all the way down through your generations to come behind you, sir. Go right ahead.
All right, I'm here with you. Yep, just listening. Really no definition, but you know, like the gentleman said earlier, when I hear you talk of freedom and then Coach Allen, there's really nothing to say. For me, I just feel what you guys are saying. I'm just like, everything you say about freedom, I actually feel that. And for me, it's really the thought process, because I believe in the law of attraction. You know, thoughts leads to energy, how you feel. And your actions, you know, follow. So for that, the things that I'm desiring, the things that I'm doing, in the place I want to be, I'm just there at my own will, own time and space. And that's freedom, because I'm not held to a standard, but my standard. And like Coach Allen said earlier, you know, I come from that mindset at times where you want to point the finger and blame the single parent household and yada, 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 all the X and strikes against us, but knowing that we still have that ability, like James Allen, you know, a man, man is the mastermind that molds and makes, and mind is man, and evermore he takes the tool of thought, shaping what he wills. He brings forth 1,000 joys, 1,000 ills. As he thinks in secrecy, it comes to pass. The environment is nothing but his looking glass. So for me, it's just that sitting back in that solitude, and I just see greatness. I see epic, and every time I'm plugged into this movement, it just feels where it needs to be. It helps me feel free, because the past 2 weeks with everybody in the transition and just us not being plugged in on our routine schedule, a part of me felt a void. I was missing that. So yesterday and now today, to be plugged in, as a part of that movement. And that's my story. So long as I'm plugged into the leadership who knows freedom and who's applying it for all of us, then I'm free, because I'm attached to that. And it's just a matter of time before I'm in that same realm as well. So that's my story. And I love the family movement. I love what we're doing.
Love it. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Mr. Davis, and all that you do as well, sir. All right, let me see if we could get comments from the Forex Lex. Did you want to comment on your freedom, what freedom means to you, Miss Lex?
Yes, sir. Of course. Yes, freedom to me is just exactly what you said, just being able to do whatever you want to do without any constraints, and I have this visual in my mind of freedom. And though I don't consider myself free yet, I already feel and am living and am walking in it as if I am already free. Because first, like Cornell said, freedom is a mindset. So it starts in the mind. So first I freed myself mentally. So now that I'm mentally free and I have a clear definition, my own definition as to what freedom is, then I can work on and walk in the path of freeing myself all around financially. And time freedom for me is the biggest. That's what it is, because every day I still get up and I go to work and I'm trading my time for money, and that's just one of the things that I can't picture myself moving forward doing. I can't do that forever. I started learning about freedom and learning that I wasn't really free, some years back. And man, I'm telling you, I wish had I known that I wasn't free a while ago, I would have been working, paying the cost, because like you said, freedom is not free, paying the cost to be free. Yeah, and it's crazy because I refer to it as slavery as well, because if you're not free, then you are a slave to the system, and I no longer want to be that. But like Cornell said, I'm just happy to be in the presence and surrounded by a group of great individuals that can help me become free. And I'm not stopping until I get there. And Mr. Allen touched on something I would love if he could go into further detail. He said it's not slavery, but indentured servitude. And I just would love to know more. What is that? Because I refer to it as slavery.
Yep, I'll have him comment. He's right there. Go ahead, sir.
So the structure of slavery is when somebody comes in and they forcefully make you go do something with no compensation whatsoever. And no matter how much you do, the other person owns you, so you can never go and express your freedom, right? It's taken from you, like being incarcerated. Servitude is when you owe a debt. So when people first came over to the country, before they went and grabbed the slaves, they grabbed poor people that looked like them, and then they said, I'll let you come over if you pay me $300, right? But $300 feel like $3 million. Now you can work for a quarter a day, and once you do enough to make us even, then you can go about your business. So there's agreement. It's like an invisible contract, it's called, right? And then so you start going to go work every day for that person. And then when you get a certain amount of stuff done, you then can trade in, you're done, and you hit a mark where now you're now free, right? Which is now you can go about you want to go from Virginia to California, right? But while you still owe me money, because it's a debtor-creditor relationship, you can't go to California when you want to, right? I have some level of say so what you do when you do it because you owe me, right? So that's how this situation starts, right? So that's what servitude is, right? And then when you get a chance to say, you know what, my bills are $400, $4,000 a month, and I make $5,000 a month, I no longer need this relationship, which is what the relationship with the job is. They help you do enough to because without them you can't go to the grocery store because you don't farm. You can't keep staying in your house because you don't own it, right? So then there's an invisible contract with whoever your employer is that they'll give you whatever y'all agree on, which is the wage, right? And you go to school to be able to put influence on that wage, to be able to make yourself more marketable, right? So you say, okay, I'm gonna give you 40 hours a week. I'm a teacher. Okay, I'll give you back 40,000. Well, I'll give you 40 hours a week. I'm a nurse. I'll give you 70,000. So that's the contracts. How much you choose to be able to go into the marketplace for your services or your skills. And when you are so in servitude is a level higher than slavery, but it feels similar. And freedom is when you have no creditor and you're not the debtor anymore, right? And so then now you're able to go contract for what you want to do. And if you don't want to take that contract, you don't take that contract. So everybody that's trying to stop working for somebody, the trick is once you get free, you probably do more work than you were working when you're working for somebody. So Rambus doesn't not work. I don't not work. We just work on a purpose that we feel passionate about, and then we get a chance to go do what we want to do, who we want to do, when we want to do it. When he say, I'm going to Costa Rica, I don't say, nah, you ain't get enough stuff done yet. There's nobody to say no, right? He says, I'm in Costa Rica for 2 weeks. I'll come back and keep pouring into people when I get back, because they say if you work in your passion, you'll never actually work another day in your life. So it's just the structure of our whole country, from slavery, which is the prison system and the way it is in 2021, and indentured servitude, which is the job structure in the E quadrant, and then working as a farmer or open source person when you do it because you feel like doing it, not because you have to, or like they were sharecrop. And if you didn't have enough money, you had to get off that land. So you work the land to be able to stay. So part of your working every day was to be able to live right there. That's the relationship we have now in the E quadrant. But that's what I meant by it. Mr.
Thank
Graham,
you.
Go to Miss Lex. Go right ahead, Lex. Any other comments, Miss Lex? That was good dialogue.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for breaking that down for me. You took the words right out of my mouth when you said you and Rambus, if you work in your passion, then you never work a day in your life. Because I understand that, and I'm really in a tough spot right now. I feel like I'm living in two worlds because I'm still confined and constrained, working a 9 to 5. And as I told you, I already feel as if I am free. I'm already mentally free. It's like I'm right there. I could feel it. I could touch it. I could taste it. I'm just, right there.
My advice to that, right? Because what you feel is what you attract. And so now to be in a place of empowerment, but then be frustrated is a short circuiting. They start to cancel each other out. So think about it from the quadrant perspective, right? So no matter what it is, we get up and we do something during our day. So once you get mentally free, what happens is you're allowed to give yourself permission to take the same job and shift it from an E quadrant relationship where that frustration is and turn it into an S quadrant relationship. Turn that job or that employer into your client. So you're still doing the same thing. You're still doing it for the same wage, but you're doing it as an independent contractor in your own spirit that's working for hitting your number to when you choose whether you still want that contract or not. So you got to find a place mentally to, now that you're mentally free, that you become emotionally free. So like Mr. Davis was talking about the as a man thinketh, right? Well, that first part is thoughts are things, but thoughts are things that then become emotions, and emotions are things that you attract back to yourself, like feelings. So to be empowered as a free person, but then allow yourself to be frustrated because you're attaching your day activity to the beginning circumstances that you got into the activity, will only help you attract more frustration. So you got to find a place that while you're still physically at the job, to mentally have fun, right? You want to get up every morning knowing that if it's the 5th grade, that you get a chance to then shift over to another quadrant, right? And you're in the 3rd grade now. Well, you know where you're going. So you get an opportunity to choose the whistle every day, because part about being free is understanding that part Davis was talking about, with that you're going to attract like feelings to what you choose to vibrate from. So I would submit for your consideration to find a way to make getting up, going, or whatever it is that you're doing, the funnest thing possible, and then you'll attract more funner things. Because when you get over here, it's like that's what I said earlier. We don't not work. We just don't go and have an E-quadrant relationship with the marketplace. I hope that helps.
Absolutely. Yeah, it helps a lot. And
Yeah.
you know, I understand that as well. And I thought about that as well as I transition over, that there will still be work, and that's okay, because as long as I'm doing something that I love to do, you know, it doesn't feel like I'm trading my time for money. I'm doing what I love to do on my own time. And once upon a time, before I became mentally free, I did love what I was doing, and I didn't have a problem with getting up and going to work every day. It went from working a shift that I hated to working a shift that was okay with me, and having weekends and holidays off. I thought that was great, like I said, until I started to learn that that's not freedom at all, that you can make an income that you desire without a cap on it, that you can not trade your time for money, you know, that you can be present with your kids and in your kids' life. And once I found out that, you know,
Then you start
I
getting
made a
depressed that you
commitment to
wasn't there
myself.
already. Right. So think about Harriet Tubman, right? Harriet Tubman actually worked her way to freedom. Then she went back into slavery and then went to go help other people, right? So now the time that you're now mentally free, however, physically still in an E-quadrant position, you're in a unique spot that Rambus and I aren't in. So you get a chance to learn how to live in this moment in absolute fun. So that way, when you're coaching other people, you can help them in this season. Because if I'm talking to them now, they're gonna look at me and say, "But you don't understand. You don't got to get up every morning, right?" But then you
Right.
can say, "But I know how you feel. I felt the same way. This is what I found by working until that what I feel is going to dictate what I attract. I decided to feel good every day anyway. I decided that while everybody else was complaining because they were still stuck in the E-quadrant and they were going to be there until time ran on the other side, and either the job didn't want them anymore or something else, and then they found out that it's no super on the other side of that when you can't work anymore and they don't want you. It's only welcome to Walmart. Hope that you saved enough. You get a chance to then be able to coach how you found that smile every day and how you went to go be an example for the people that you're about to leave behind while you invite them to come.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. That smile every day. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, it's not easy, and I have rough days, and some days it just gets so hard. But when it gets hard, I still find a way and a reason to smile. I cannot tell you guys. Getting mad is not even in my vocabulary anymore. I can't tell you the last time I was able to be upset or mad about anything, because I know what's about to happen, and what I'm stepping into. You know what I'm working towards every day. So I feel really good along this. It's a journey for me. It's a journey, and it's really exciting, you know.
Mr. Rambis, we apologize. We give it a call back over to you. We started a little brother sisters little thing. You're on mute.
Yeah, I love it. You know, I love the dialogue. I mean, it really is empowering for somebody. Now, I mean, it's empowering for you, Lex, just for being here, right? Because you're in the present. But somebody's gonna watch this video and hear where you are in your journey. So let me give you a word of encouragement for me, because I was there. Like I was going to the 50, 60-hour a week bank manager job. And I had to condition my mind first, right? Because I dreaded it. I literally dreaded going to work, just like everybody else, because it's not your dream, right? It's not where you desired yourself to be at whatever point. But I began to read and work on personal development and understand that it was part of the process and embrace that journey. And like Mr. Allen said, I started to have fun with it. I started to set goals for myself inside the job, right? So initially it would be, okay, how can I get extra $500 a month on top of what I make coming to my job? And I started to set goals to match my income. That was always the first goal, was to start setting small little milestones to get to where I was making the same amount of money part-time that I was making full-time on my job. And along the way, I would challenge people all the time, right, in that journey, because most people just got their job income. And I would all the way through, like, yeah, I'm halfway to my full-time income, and I'm doing it part-time off, outside of my job. Now, once I match my income, right, I'm making a full-time income doing something that I love to do part-time, right? Wouldn't you like to hear about that? Everybody wants to hear a winner's story, right? How are you winning? How are you making? Listen, one of my mentors was taking more vacations than he was allowed. Like the 2 weeks that you get on vacation, he was taking a vacation like almost every month. He would take a few days out to travel. And it was because I asked, I said, how are you doing this when everybody else is going to work full time all the time, and you take a vacation every month? And he just told me that he worked on a part-time business, right? And that was part of my journey. Learning more about what he did in his part-time business was another stepping stone into my journey that led me to freedom. But that was years and years ago. And you just keep following through the path, embracing the journey, and picking up all those golden nuggets that you can get along the way from people like Mr. Allen and so many other people that we're here willing to share. So let me let real quick, because I know everybody wants to comment on this, and I don't want to. I want to keep it moving forward. But if Mr. Davis, you'll go ahead and share real quick what your comment was, so I can get the other folks who haven't had a chance to share. I'll let you to do that right now, my brother. Go ahead, Mr. Davis.
Okay. Just to piggyback off the Coach Allen, and one of the key words that y'all been using has been work. And going back to even freedom for myself, and I think it speaks to all of us. Khalil Gibran, if you're not familiar with some of his writings, it's a book that I recommend for just spiritual thought, good motivation. He writes a book called The Prophet. And in that book, a lady asked him, tell me about work. And just to share with you a part of it, he said, work is love made visible. It is to weave the clothes, even if you're not going to wear it, even if your beloved is going to wear it. It's for you to get up and build the house with affection, even if your beloved is going to dwell in it. It's also for you to get up and sow the seeds of tenderness and reap the harvest and joy, even if your beloved is going to actually eat the fruit. So work is love made visible. And to know that all the blessed are dead, are standing and watching you work. So continue to work. So I just share that because Khalil Gibran articulates it so beautifully. And just to go back to what Coach Allen said, even though he has shifted into a different quadrant, as well as Dr. Rambis, they are working. And they are working to actually put us in a position so their work is love made visible. And I just wanted to share that because that was a key thing that seems to keep coming across in this call.
Yeah, that's definitely a beautiful quote, Mr. Davis. I love it. Mr. Allen, go ahead, sir. You had something you wanted to comment on?
I'm gonna wait to go last, like Pop
right.
said.
No worries. Okay, so Miss Kempire, Nia, and Mr. Salam. Mr. Salam, we'll let the ladies go first. What we're doing, guys, if you haven't heard, just kind of give what your definition of freedom, what it means to you, because it's kind of relative, right? Freedom is different, has different meanings to different people. Some people desire certain things in their freedom, might be monetarily, might be time freedom. We don't know, but we're all here to work collectively together so everybody can achieve those freedoms for themselves and their families. So we just wanted to kind of have a documented for someone like you. Anybody, if you want to share, go ahead and unmute yourselves, Miss Kempire or Nia.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to apologize for my tardiness. I was growing my mind and lost track of time. So
never a bad thing. What's your definition of freedom?
It's not that I even have a definition of freedom, but what I will say is I've been free in my mind for so long, I don't know what that other life looks like. So once you free your mind, everything else will follow. Didn't En Vogue sing that?
Yes.
So I've been free for so long, even when I was working for the people, I was already doing what Mr. Allen said. I was already having fun and treating them like they were my employee. So when you love what you do, the passion will exude and it will turn everything around so you can be where you want to be. And I'm just going to finish off by saying that I appreciate everyone on this call, and the level of greatness is a magnitude I could never even think of. So I just want to thank you all for all of your greatness and everything that you do. We all see it.
Thank you, Ms. Kim. Thank you as well. Nia, did you want to share what your freedom is, what it means to you? If not, I'll go over to Mr. Salam. You can unmute. Let me see. Yeah, I got you unmuted. Miss Little. All right. Well, Mr. Salam, my brother, so great to see you and the missus down in Florida. And what is your definition of freedom, Mr. Salam? We've been talking about freedom here on the call. Whatever that means to you and your definition, or this movement in freedom, what does it mean to you?
Yeah, I definitely echo the sentiments of everybody that already spoke, but it's just, you know, having the ability to do what you want to do when you want to do it, go where you want to go, where you want to go, whenever you're ready to go, and just being able to do what you want to do when you want to do. I can't put it no other way other than that, because when I think about freedom, I think about every department of my life: mentally, spiritually, physically, socially, economically, just the whole total package. You know, and one of the things I used to actually share with people, and I even shared it with you one time, is that it's very important for us to have the main 5 principles in my life. I think it's very important. That's faith, family, finance, and fitness. So you can have that total package, which is freedom. So when I came into contact with the epic opportunity and then found out that, you know, our team was calling themselves the Freedom Family, and I was already vibing off of the five F's, the 5, you know, those main 5 ingredients: faith, family, finance, fitness. So you had that total package, which is freedom. Yeah, I knew I was in the right place at the right time. I said, because here it is, I'm already vibing like that, and I hooked up with a group of people who's calling themselves the Freedom Family. So that's my definition of it, Mr. Rambis. I'm jacked out of my mind about everything that's going on, and definitely was happy to see, you know, everybody that's in the Freedom Family from the leadership there in Florida as well. But that's my definition of freedom, sir. And I can't wait till I get to the point where I got that one that I don't have in my life yet, and that's the finance side of it. And then it's game over for my employer, like Xbox, PlayStation, and Wii. With that call, I'll turn the call over back to you.
With Xbox, PlayStation, and Wii. I love it. Yeah. So, you know, the funny thing is, you know, our paths are all intertwined so much. And I remember our mentors, Mr. Self, saying years ago that imagine the day, right, when you can wake up and you got money out of the way, right? What does your day look like when money is no longer needed, right? You have all your bills, I think it says on auto pay or something like that, right? And all the money is taken care of. You don't have to work for the money anymore. It's already coming in. What does your day look like? That's when you're able to, right, pursue your passions, and people can live more along the lines of their purpose and what they want their lives to look like once they're gone, and what they live for when you're no longer chasing money. And we kind of lose ourselves in that rat race. I watched, you know, for my whole life, people just chase after money, chase after money, chase after money, and then one day they're gone. Like the race is over, and they never really got to enjoy all the money that they chased and ran after to get to enjoy it, because they never took the time to, you know, be present and enjoy life as it is. And that's just something that my freedom run, you know, my passion has always been, you know, not to have to chase after money, but let money chase me. and that way I can pursue, you know, the things that I desire in my life. And that's what this is for me, guys. It really is helping people see a better way that they can pursue life. Again, not having to chase money and end up with no life left. So go ahead, Mr. Allen. We'll let you close it out, my brother.
What came to mind was there was a season where we had the cleaning company, we had the real estate, and I had the choice to either lay people off or go get a part-time job, right? So that's the longer parts of the story. So I got the part-time job because I didn't want to lay the people off. So I'm in there and I make more than everybody that I work for, and then the person that I work for after that. But I'm in this spot where if you attempt, because that's why I went to do get a temp part-time to make the number still make sense, because I know my number. They treat you like you're less than a whole person because they're full-time. It was the funniest thing. It was like an experiment, right? Because I'm watching them be mean because I'm not full-time. It was fun, right? But anyway, so I'm in there every day whistling. Doo, 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 doo. I don't fit in the whole thing. Everybody complaining. I'm volunteering for stuff, the whole thing. And what I learned in hindsight is every season you go through isn't always for you, right? And so so what I would go do is I would still go buy property, and since my job was downtown, I would take my lunch break, go to City Hall, record the deed, come back, and I got a folder so I don't look like everybody because they went and got a sandwich. I'm walking with a folder. So then people start asking me, "What is it that you're doing?" So I start showing some of the brothers the real estate. And then one brother, particularly Zaheem Miller, in case this get on recording, right? So Zaheem would say, he would start asking me questions. So then we befriended each other. I showed him some network marketing too. And I would take him and show him on tours of the properties and give him the whole play. And then so that season was over for me. Everybody still worked in that same job, right? They still lived in their real world. My temporary assigned duty was over. But then I will go back and check through every once in a while when I will come back to the city. And this brother, Mr. Rambis, years later, still worked at the job. So that's not that that was still there. But he had brought and sold a couple properties. And it was my example that let him know it's possible. And so sometimes the journey you're still on in the season isn't for you. You're there for somebody else. This thing that Rambis and I are doing, building a freedom family, isn't for us. It's for the platforms that the Miss Wings is going to grow from, the Arzus are going to grow, who Mr. Salam is going to be internationally, and then the people that they're going to bless. You know, so and everybody else. I mean, I hear Mr. Davis quoting other people, so you don't think he's the smart guy, but he gives you a person to go read, so then he can share with you, like, so stuff like, so I'm just excited for everybody, and your freedom path is somebody else's freedom example. So with that, sir, I turn the call over to you, and I hope everybody has a phenomenal time on their path. You're on mute.
Yes, sir. I'm off mute now, my brother. Yeah, man. Good stuff. Good stuff, man. That's it. Absolutely it. Your path and your journey is absolutely an example for somebody else to see. That's literally what it is. And all I've done is really follow behind. Let me tell you what someone said to me early on in my journey, and this might be for you, Miss Lex, or maybe it's for somebody else who's on that path watching the recording. But he said, look around, you know, wherever your pursuit of happiness is, right? Wherever you're pursuing your goals, whether it's your job, you know, your career, your education, you're pursuing, whatever those things are. He said to look around at the people who were on that path, right? So look for examples of people who've walked that path, right? So when this was my walk, right? I was in the banking arena, and I had to look at the people who had walked that path for their whole lives, 25, 30 years on that path. And he said, look around, see if they're where you want to be, right? So if they're where you want to be at the end of the road, and that's the lifestyle you want to have led to get to that end result, then keep going down that path, and keep pursuing that dream, and you'll be able to have it just like they did. But if they aren't where you want to be, and you're following in the path that they've actually laid out, and you look at their end result, and they're not where you want to be, then you might want to reconsider, right, that path. And that's where I was. I was looking at the guys who were at the top of the bank, whether it be vice presidents, presidents of the bank, where they were in their lives, and that was not what I wanted. It was just me, right? Somebody else might desire that. But I saw 25 years of my life punching the clock every day, working 40 to 50 hours a week, not being the end game for me personally. And I started to pursue a different end goal. And guess what? I just changed my focus. It wasn't on those guys. I just shifted the focus to people who had the lifestyle exactly the way I had desired it for myself. And I began to follow those mentors and do what they did. And one of them worked a job, just this is for you, Lex. One of my mentors worked his job well into a six-figure income, right? So he was making six figures part-time while still working a job. And so, you know, one of the best stories or one of the best lessons I learned from him was not to be begrudgingly to the journey and to the job, right? Because like Mr. Allen says, it just creates bad energy. You got to find a way to make that a positive thing. Showing up to the job so you can be better than you were before, with the right attitude, and inspiring those around you. I remember I went back to Bank of America, and this was after my first stint of freedom, when I matched my bank income, worked full time from home for a number of years, and then had to go back and get a job, right? And it's one of the hardest things in the world to do, but champions do it. Like Mr. Allen said, he went and got a part-time job so people wouldn't have to get laid off, a sacrifice he made to help others. And I had to go back to the Bank of America, went into the Bank of America. And because I had learned so much in entrepreneurship and in my journey and studying champions, people who've made millions and millions of dollars, I walked back into an environment where my senior management couldn't hold a candle to the level of business that I had been working on, right? So they were running these different banks, and they really weren't able to run their own businesses, right? They didn't understand what it takes to run your own business, and I did, and I felt so empowered by that. Like, here are these people running multi-million-dollar banks, and really, if you gave them their own business, they would struggle because they hadn't been forged by the fire, if you will. So that's exactly what you're doing. You're actually working part-time on your dream and full-time on your job. And that's a beautiful thing. So we appreciate you all of you champions. Keep fighting for your freedom. We'll be on our crypto Q&A. We're back to our normal schedule. So tomorrow I will be on at 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central for our cryptocurrency Q&A. Invite people, right? Because there are lots of folks out there who don't know anything about Bitcoin or trading at all. And this is a free forum for them to get questions answered and even be a part of our Freedom Family movement. Join in on Thursday. You have Mr. Allen and CJ for the next generation of traders at 6:30 on this same Zoom. And then Saturday mornings, our traders Q&A featuring none other than FOREX Lex and a host of so many others who actually helped that call go very smoothly and create examples of success in our trading academy. Appreciate you all again. God bless you and have a great night.